So I came down to the workshop today and I realized that there was something missing. And I just realized what it was, a belt sander. Now, up until recently, I've been making do with this setup. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's been fine, it's been okay, but this little handheld floor sander, belt sander, it's as loud as anything. It's just obnoxious. It's obnoxious to use, it's obnoxious for my neighbours, and I'm ready to upgrade. Homemade 72-inch belt sanders, and that's what I'm going for. It's going to replace this setup, which has worked, and this just comes off easy, and I can still use it for its intended purpose, but it's time for something new. I picked this up at a flea market for like 30 bucks. It runs great. It's a little bit rattly, and man does it move some air. More than what I really need. I in fact picked up 2 of them. There's another one sitting over here. Up there on top of my fridge. It's the best place to keep a blower, I reckon. And so this is the motor. Single phase, 240 volt, 850 RPM. I can't tell you how many horses it has. It's worn off. But it should be fine for what I need. In order to get the motor off, I have to first remove the impeller. So all it's holding that on is 2 grub screws, and I have a feeling that it's probably going to be rusted solid to the shaft, so it could get ugly. I'll try to get it off in one piece. Wow, well that was a lot easier than I expected. Let's see if the other one's that good. Okay, with a little bit more mucking around, that's actually spinning really true. I know it doesn't look like it. It's because this impeller is actually not very central. I'm not sure. I'm not a fitter. I'm a sheet metal fabricator, and so I'm not up to speed with all the correct terminology. But when I am focused closely on the center and give that a spin, I'm just going to crudely move you around now. Okay. Come on, camera. There we go. That's actually pretty damn close. Now, in looking at that, it actually looks like someone has... Sorry. It looks like someone's actually peened the end of this shaft. That's probably why I can't get it off. In hammering it down, it causes it to mushroom out and expand. It's a really effective way of locking something on, but it basically means that you'll never get it off again. So, now in seeing that, I think that means I'm going to have to be cutting this off. I really wanted to get it off in one hit, but no, not while it's like that. I could drill that out, and in fact I should just quickly try to drill that out, but I want as much shaft as I can for the job that I'm doing for this belt sander. So I think it's at the stage where I'm just going to chop it off now. Okay. Now that we're this far, it's time to stop and think about how I'm going to do the rest of this. I am making this up as I go. That's how a lot of my stuff comes together. I build that way because I never know what materials I have available or what I can scrounge up to build something. So I keep the design. I have a rough idea of the direction I'm heading, but I'm pretty fluid with the design. I'm at a moment's notice I will change it to suit the material I have in hand and do my best to make it work. Sometimes the appearance of the machinery does suffer a bit because of that. A classic example of that is this tumbler that I've made. That's just a hot water drum. It's just bits and pieces that I've scrounged from anywhere and everywhere, and I was going to take you guys along for the ride while I built this thing, but it just sort of went, the quality went downhill that quick. I was just like, oh, it's not worth sharing. I'll show you the end result. For those who don't know what a tumbler is, it's no different than like your Lehman bullet cleaner, you know, with the stainless steel medium. Basically works on exactly the same principle. There's a medium inside, this slowly rotates, and whatever you put in there is cleaned, and in my case I've got a very harsh medium. It's I'll just undo this, not that one, this one. Sorry, my finger's getting in the way. In my case the medium is nuts and bolts and bits of rubbish. But what it does, these parts here have all been tumbled, and the longer you leave it in there the better it gets, but the edges are smooth, and I didn't deburr these after I made them. I basically just threw them in there, and it just means that it's one less thing that I have to do by hand, like the deburring process. Deburring is important. There's nothing worse than picking up something and getting cut on it because a tradesman was lazy and couldn't be bothered to deburr it. So this just means that I don't have to physically deburr every single part. These are all bits and pieces for rocket stoves, by the way. So I can just throw it in there, turn it on and walk away. It's got a few safety features, being this piece of hose between the motor and the gear reduction box. The idea of this is for whatever reason, if that gearbox decides it's going to seize, this bit of hose will give before the motor burns out. That's the theory. It's just a snug press fit on either side. On top of that, this shaft is absolutely destroyed. Yeah, I did that, I'll be honest. I tried to reduce its size with a grinder while it was spinning, thinking it was pretty clever, and all that happened is it started to skip over the keyway that was cut, and as it skipped, it just meant that the circle became an oval. So long story short, I did manage to still use this, and the hose also allows for a little bit of misalignment between the gearbox and the motor. Really simple, low tech. I like low tech solutions. And we've just got these rubber band drive, banded belts, whatever you call them, and the whole motor slides up and down on this bit of RHS, including the gearbox. It's all one piece, so I can keep the tension on these belts adjusted. And while we're here, I might as well turn it on for you. It kind of sounds like a cement mixer. The whole thing is slightly canted back on an angle. If you're wondering about the paint job, where one can finished, another can started. That's the story with that. Yeah, I know that. This is why I didn't bring you guys along for the ride. Sorry, I knew it was going to get ugly. As it is, it's not as ugly as I thought it would be. Amazing what a little bit of paint does, but it's not exactly what it's rough for my standards anyway. But it needs to serve a purpose, and it does that. Anyway, so for the rollers, what the belt's going to run on, I have these wheels off a trolley jack. We were servicing trolley jacks, and these are the ones that were the best of the worst, if you know what I mean. They were getting new wheels, new bearings, and so I thought, I had in mind I was going to build this belt sander, and I thought, you beauty. So what I need to do, these wheels are not true or round or anything, they're just flogged and horrible. So I want the outside to be true to the inside, because that's what the bearing's going to run in, that's what's going to drive it. So I need to make a mandrel to go in either side so that I can turn it true to the center and get the outsides all nice and flat. That's what I'll be doing next.